We're back with more NIKKE, Goddess of Victory, chapter 8 through 10 summarized.
And welcome back to the series. Once more, thank you to my channel members for their continued support, and I hope you all enjoy this video. With the lingering mystery of the bullet Snow White had given to the Counters and the heretics they encountered, the group ventures to the surface on a covert operation. Unlike previous missions, this one will be completely in secret, with only Counters and Exia knowing of their operation. Well, them and one more individual who reemerges in this chapter. While proceeding to the surface, Shifty pays the Counters a call, stating that she's now the dedicated operator for the Counters, because literally nobody else applied. There's a brief light exchange between the Counters, Exia, and Shifty before the group continues onward to their next mission. Rightfully so, Anise is paranoid how Shifty just all of a sudden shows up to help. There shouldn't have been any way for Shifty to have known of their operation, but perhaps this can provide more help than anything else. Although Neon tells Anise that her suspicions are misplaced, she sticks to her gut feeling. Rightfully so, at this moment, the group is very suspicious of the central government and of the Ark. What use did the Ark have to put a library of all things under heavy lock and key? Funnily enough, Neon asks Anise if they can't trust the Ark, does that mean they can't trust her as a spy? Before Anise can respond, Exia chimes in, backing up Shifty's presence amidst the group. So, did Exia uncover some information as to why Shifty should be trustworthy? Maybe she was collaborating with Shifty to provide backup. Yeah, no. Exia says we should trust Shifty because she is max level in a video game, and that no one who plays Final Quest can be all that bad. Ah yes, a true gamer's intuition is never wrong. Surely. Neon still feels Anise is being paranoid, however Exia interrupts their banter to tell them which way to go, due north to a damaged plane. At this point, the group is entirely under Exia's guidance, as high concentration of alpha particles render their communications with Shifty useless. Exia texts and tells Rappy to open the box in front of the cockpit. Rappy approaches the box to open it, to find nothing. Perplexed, the team moves out. As the team is moving, Exia makes a call, this time to ask Rappy if she had any good memory wipes lately, to which the entire team is shocked. For those of you unaware, Exia is one of the greatest hackers in the Ark, and has many ties to uncover information intended to be confidential. To confirm Exia's suspicions, she purposefully led the group to an area containing the box, one which Rappy had dealt with 3 years prior. The box had a structural flaw, but was overall covered up in the years that came. Exia did all this out of curiosity, to which Anise protested, stating that Exia didn't trust them. Rich, coming from you, Anise. Exia's rebuttal is simple, that Anise also has issues not trusting her own teammates. To pour salt on the wound, Exia raises another good rebuttal. If she truly wanted to betray the Counters, she would have simply contacted the Ark of their covert mission. With that, Exia marks the next point on their map. As the team continues to move, the mood is tense due to Anise's paranoia, which finally causes Neon to snap. Neon and Anise have had their squabbles in the past, but it seems things finally reach a boiling point in this chapter. The commander and Rappy try to defuse the situation, but to no avail. Neon refuses to apologize and storms off, drifting ahead of the group. Rappy tries to talk to Anise, but only gets the same feedback as she'd gotten with Neon. Rappy and Exia seem concerned, but the commander states that it is something that Neon and Anise must resolve on their own. As the team moves forward, they come across a minefield. Exia offers to try and assist, but Shifty comes back just in time to save the day. She says she was worried about the group and understands that there's doubt of her involvement with this mission, but assures that she's only there to help. Shifty tells Counters of the clause in the operator code that tells them not to get too attached to NIKKEs, cause they could be dead at any given moment. However, Shifty can't do that. She wants the Counters to all come back alive, so she's more than willing to help them out. This technically violates direct orders from the central government, Shifty considering the Counters as her friends. With this, she hopes to dispel any ill will towards her. However, even still, Anise is still not ready to trust Shifty completely. Silence falls from the group once again, and as they continue forward, they come across a giant particle gun in the front of the facility that they're headed to. It's a MSIC-007, a high-density particle cell model developed by Missilis. Basically, for those of you familiar with the game, it's a larger version of Laplace's gun. The gun isn't only threatening, but also apparently is ready to discharge at any moment. Standing guard to the munitions facility is a few Lord-class Raptors which the counters are able to defeat. As the battle finishes, the particle gun comes online and starts to charge up. Anise and Neon run towards each other, only thinking about saving one another. They lock eyes midair and bump heads, dropping to the ground due to a midair collision. And the gun fires, and all there was a mere beam of light. Not enough power to do any damages. As the team is feeling relieved, Neon and Anise go back and forth about who should be thanking who for saving one another. This chapter wraps up with Neon and Anise seemingly getting on better terms. Neon attempting to help Anise up, only to let go of her hand midway through, and goes to say she's still mad at Anise for not trusting her comrades, even though they've been in near-death experiences on more than one occasion. Anise apologizes to Neon, who is obviously still upset with her, and she tells Anise to get up herself, refusing to assist her any further. With this bittersweet exchange, the group continues onward towards the munitions facility. Even so, Anise can't help but wonder how Neon feels, asking Rappy if she thinks Neon is over their little squabble. To which Rappy replies, probably. Chapter 9 is quite a pivotal chapter. It is the beginning of a cascade of mysteries surrounding the world of NIKKE. We start with our team moving inside the munitions facility. While continuing onward, Shifty is being grilled by Exia, ensuring that Shifty takes the proper precautions and procedures on this mission. During their exchange of banter, the counters discuss if they should tell Shifty about Rappy's failed memory wipe. But due to Shifty's close proximity to the central government, Anise advises against it. As the team comes to a scanning device, the group realizes the sheer size of the facility and the devices within. The scanning device the group intends to use, as Exia explains, can reveal all components which make up whatever is placed into it. Exia informs the group how to operate the scanning device, and the mysterious bullet is placed within. Before the team can see the results of the scan, they're ambushed by Raptors yet again. In the time the team took to fight the Raptors off, the scanning device had completed its analysis. The components of the bullet start out simple enough. It's nothing but a normal rifle bullet. However, it's mixed with an unusual component. This component is revealed to be called Vapaus. Neither Exia nor Shifty have ever heard of the substance before. Though the team has no idea what Vapaus could be, Exia offers to try and dig up as much information as she can from the ARC's database. It's not much of a lead, but it's the most reliable thing the team has to cling on. Despite Exia's best efforts, she's having no luck finding anything remotely close to the name Vapaus. One tidbit of information uncovered when this chapter first came out was the name Vapaus itself. Vapaus is a Finnish word, and roughly translates to meaning freedom, liberty, or deviation from forms of rules or practices. Essentially, it's something alluding to bringing freedom to the war-torn surface that we have now become accustomed to. Exia's suspicions are also shared with my previous statement, that the central government could have wiped the information, or they withheld it from the public on surface access to their network. Shifty is the only ace in her sleeve. However, even with her role as an operator, she has no access to that highly classified information. Exia's solution is also quite simple, to hack into the central government's database. And like I said before, she is the best hacker the ARC has.
This is a terrible idea, because one, we don't know what it is. Two, if you think you know what it is, you're gonna look into the central government. What if the central government doesn't have anything on it? Which, you know, they might have something on it, but it's like, we kind of don't want to bite the hand that feeds us, and hacking into them is a pretty big ass bite. Breach in security, and they might just call us traitors at that. And then what? I don't know. I don't think hacking in is the best solution. I think it's the only solution for now, but if anything, I think we need to get an insider. We need to find an inside man. Who can we talk to? Who can we trust? Can't trust anybody.
Rightfully so, the counters are very wary of Exia performing such an action. The consequences would be severe if she were to be caught. Exia, however, seems to not have a care in the world, fully confident that she can avoid the central government's watchful eye.
Okay.
To Exia, not knowing something is something she simply cannot stand, and with that, she starts her hacking of the central government's database.
Okay.
While Exia begins hacking, Shifty thinks
Gonna
that
find
she's
shit
joking
you don't
at
wanna
first,
find.
basically calling her bluff. But oh no, our girl Exia is all business about this. Realizing that Exia is serious, Shifty asks if she could help, and Anise just tells her to plead the fifth. Literally.
Plausible deniability. Plausible deniability. She's not saying you can't help with the hack, but if you do, don't tell me you helping with the hack.
Implicating yourself in any way would prove dire in this situation if they were to be caught.
Of course.
To absolutely no one's surprise, Exia is caught. It happened far too swiftly for anyone to have proper time to react. Before the weight of the situation can fully hit the group, Exia informs the group that the Triangle Squad is en route to her location.
Oh shit!
The Triangle Squad consists of Yulha, Admi, and Privity. They act for the central government and keep the Ark citizens safe from various threats. And in this case, Exia was that threat. The scary thing about this is Exia's communication with the counters. This could directly implicate the commander as well.
Yes!
Exia, being the intelligent
person
we're
already
that she is,
on a covert
the
mission.
counters that communications have not been recorded.
We're about to be
Therefore, leaving no paper trail of the correspondence between the two.
But they have you.
Despite
if they catch
this,
you, they will
the
torture
commander,
you or take your information.
is still worried. He asks
Now
Exia
you gotta
what will
hide.
happen when she's caught.
You're fucked.
Nikke's can undergo a brain scan if necessary,
Exactly.
allowing the central government to see
They
into
will know
Nikke's
exactly
memories
what
during
happened.
the duration of certain periods. In this case, this could directly, once more, implicate the commander and counters. Exia, however, is already far too aware of
She's
this
gonna wipe her memory?
and proposes a solution. She calmly tells the group that she will incinerate her own brain in order to keep the secret safe.
Okay.
This is not only to bury the secret
is
of
what
the
you have
commander's
to do.
covert operation and Exia's involvement, but also leave no paper trail of Rappy being unaffected by the memory wipe. Before Exia can explain anything any
She already
further,
does it.
we hear the sounds of commotion
Do
as
it.
Triangle
Immediately.
successfully breaches Exia's room, guns drawn. Once the
Damn.
sound of gunfire subsides, the only thing the group sees is a red splattered screen. The group is distraught and panicked, but it's not over yet. The video communications were still
Better cut
open
it.
between Exia and the
Aw,
counters,
shit.
and Triangle is suspicious as to who's on the other end. To the members of Triangle, they can't see a viable reason someone would try to hack into the central government, and to them, it could be seen as an act of terrorism. Triangle is drawn to the video communications, but before they can see who's on the other end,
Cut it.
Rappy terminates the signal.
100%.
Due to Exia's rightful suspicion of the
That's
central
slow.
government, the paper trail leading her involvement with the counters ends with Exia's termination. Trying to process what just happened, the team tries to be hopeful of Exia's survival, but I think deep down, they know that she's already dead. Exia took one for the team, quite literally, a direct headshot by the Triangle unit.
Didn't take one for the team. Nobody asked her to hack into the government. She was just so confident in her ability, she got herself killed. Always the confident ones that die first. Remember this.
The group gathers their bearings and attempts to head back to the Ark, still under the nose of Anderson and the central government. Upon their journey back, the group happens upon a small minefield, one that Shifty fails to warn them about prior. Neon ends up being injured stepping on a mine, and Rappy is furious, asking Shifty why she failed to inform the group of this danger. As an operator, it is Shifty's job to scan the nearby surroundings and report back if anything is dangerous within the counter's vicinity. Shifty states that it was so small that her scan didn't pick it up.
Bullshit.
As counters continue en route to the Ark, they encounter raptures over and over again. This would be
From bad to
normal.
worse.
However, in past scenarios, Shifty led the group on routes to avoid as much rapture contact as
But
possible.
we keep running into them.
Something isn't right.
She led us
Surely
into
Shifty
a
isn't
minefield.
doing this
We keep running into
purposefully,
raptors.
is she?
She's not doing her
Rappy
job
grows
correctly.
suspicious and asks Shifty who she really is. Playing it off at first, Shifty answers that she's their operator, but Rappy persists. There's no way the real Shifty would make these many errors and guide the group into danger repeatedly over and over again. Rappy presses the
working with the
question
government.
once more. and the jig is finally
Because
up.
that's why I'm confused. Like the Triangle Squad. How the hell did the Triangle Squad make it to the hacker's location so fast? Like, I feel like this was a setup. It has to be. It has to be.
It turns out the shifty the group had been with this whole time was actually Siwon. Siwon is impressed she was found out, like she thinks we're that stupid and it wasn't that obvious.
Well,
also, yes.
Let's keep it real. It took a lot of steps. Like, you guys could have died several times. So I'm not gonna say like you guys are geniuses for finding out, but y'all could have found out a lot sooner because this is some bullshit.
That's where all the memes of Siwon dressed up as Shifty come from. Some more tasteless than others. Siwon says that since Rabbi gave her broken ribs, she's been planning and hatching her revenge. The real Shifty has been at a training camp for the last month, and remember how Exia was found out so quickly?
That's what I'm saying!
Kinda suspicious.
Yeah!
Right? Well,
yeah!
Right, dear viewer.
Yeah!
It was this bitch that sold out Exia for hacking the central government.
Of course.
Can someone put a bullet between her eyes? I haven't had this vehement hatred for a character.
And that's the thing. We can't even really put a bullet through her eyes, because isn't she a CEO? You can't just assassinate her and expect everything to just go smooth. You got to get rid of her by getting her thrown in prison. And even then, not enough. She's in prison, then we got to terminate her. Yep. You got to bury her under the jail.
A very long time.
That's how you
Siwon said that she had to get rid of Exia due to it being a matter of time before she was found out. Now, remember folks, to Siwon, Nikkes are nothing but hunks of metal that are easily disposed of, totally not possessing any type of human emotions. Siwon isn't the sharpest tool in the shed though. Shocking, I know. Even for a CEO, impersonating a central government employee is no light offense.
Of course.
When confronted with this reality,
but at the same time, we can't do anything about it, bro. We're on a covert mission. What are we gonna do? You can't snitch.
Acting her size and sounds off a alarm to attract more raptures to their location. Damn. Yes, she summoned raptures to the counter's location. Hey, if any of you are Siwon fans, and I'm not talking to you edgy meme lords who say that you are one, I mean genuine Siwon fans, there's a door.
Well,
kindly get the fuck out.
Some people
the counters are able to eventually fend off the raptures, and Siwon tries to make a proposal to come and work for her.
It's not even on the table. That's not even an option. She's serious.
The commander turns down the brat's offer, they head back to the Ark. The commander is questioned heavily about his involvement and counters involvement with Exia and the mysterious comlink that Triangle had seen when they infiltrated. Playing dumb, eventually Triangle leaves, and following this, the commander meets with Anderson. Anderson, just like Triangle, alludes to the group involvement with Exia, to which the group once more denies. He informs them that Exia had been executed on the spot, but also that her brain had been incinerated, which proved to be highly suspicious. Despite the group's refusal to affirm Anderson's suspicion, he knows that they're guilty. Implicating counters further, he states that Siwon had also had unauthorized use of the central government's comlinks, and that she had banned the word Vtuber from being searched in any of the central government's networks. As their meeting wraps up, Anderson states that if they uncover anything else, to come and let him know. After meeting with Anderson, the group deliberates on Exia truly being dead or not. The conclusion is pretty grim.
I think she's dead.
Even if Exia somehow survived, the punishment most likely would be something severe. The group is also furious at Siwon, rightfully so, and Anise and I have a common agreement here, to storm into Misla's headquarters and have a little
parlay?
With
you want a parlay?
Eventually, the group comes across Exia's squad novel.
I actually don't want to hear that. I don't want to hear that they walked in there and like pulled their dicks out on the table. It's like, hey, we're gonna square off right here, right now. I would like to have something more covert, something more under the table. Hey, times, pull your dick out.
It shares a message
from
Exia and says that they need to move to a more secure location. Going to the outpost, Novel reveals an encrypted message to them sent by Exia. The message reads, Vtuber brings an end to Nikke's immortality. Puzzled, Novel tells Counter she's gonna go and ask Exia.
So, right, if a Nikke dies, right, they can always be like rebuilt or some shit as long as you get the brain. But apparently, this Vophouse bullet has the ability to delete this ghost inside of the shell, if you know what I mean.
See about it face to face.
That's very terrifying.
There's just one issue.
That's very terrifying.
Exia is dead, right?
It's like Destiny.
Following Novel to the
ghost.
data center, they are greeted by none other than Exia. Exia is alive. However, her memories are erased.
White, yeah.
She doesn't
so
remember sending Novel that message.
Okay. So they terminated her. She erased her brain stuff, right? They rebuilt her because she is the best hacker, right? So obviously she is an asset. But if anything, they're just monitoring her. So after she's brought back to life, I would not be talking to her.
However, intending to try and jog her memory,
no,
Exia attempts to search the Vophouse.
No, why would you do that?
Been blocked.
The
message was sent to Novel 6 hours ago.
Oh man!
And after a
she
short
like
period of
Watson.
deliberation, Exia seems to finally recall something. She goes back over the events that happened in the last 6 hours leading to her death, saying that the reason for her destroying her brain was because she found something important. Anise inquires about how Exia is still here if she were killed, and Exia replies, explaining that she left behind a code in the nanomachines in her brain.
Nanomachines?
The official name for the nanomachines that are within a NIKKE's brain are classified as NIMF, neuro-implanted machines for the protection of humans. NIMF is implanted into a NIKKE's brain and allows the information to be erased and written. Exia compares it to a backup storage or an enabling autosave. Anise points out that Exia's brain was splattered, so how exactly did she survive? It is revealed that Protocol Squad have safeguards in their brains to prevent corruption or brain scans from other entities. And playing through this chapter as a veteran player of the game, I had completely forgotten about this. This is huge. Exia and Novel are immune to corruption. This could probably be useful in the future. Exia said that when she bit the bullet, her safeguard was the only thing that ejected, leaving her actual brain intact. Although this is great news, there's still the looming punishment of hacking into the central government in the first place.
Yeah.
Exia, however, also dispels any worry regarding this too.
It's
a benefit of being in the Protocol Squad, seeing how
last time you weren't worried, you got shot in the fucking head. Does she not learn her lesson?
They manage all the data within the Ark and support Enoch, so she should be good. Even so, there's one more factor, Exia's brain incineration. Again, there's a stipulation for this too. The brain had to burn for 1 minute in total, which Exia's didn't, so permanent damage wasn't sustained. However, the implication with counters and Exia colluding in this covert operation was eradicated completely. Even though Exia's memory was wiped, she's still Exia. It's about the interpretation of how you view a memory wipe, which Rappy and Exia have differing opinions on. Eventually, they hop back on the topic of Vophouse and Nymph. Basically, if a NIKKE were to be exposed to Vophouse, it will eradicate Nymph, meaning memory wipes and scans would prove to be obsolete. And would you look at that, we just so happen to know of one NIKKE that wasn't affected by a memory wipe, Rappy. When asking Rappy, she's not sure herself when she was even exposed to this foreign substance. The group also theorizes the possibility of Vophouse working on heretics, to which they're unsure of. However, Novel does inform the group that there's 2 squads they could ask regarding the heretics themselves. These 2 squads being Absolute and Matisse, Elysian and Missless's strongest squads. This was their only time that they ever worked together, marking a historical conflict with the heretics to which humanity won. Knowing this information is one thing, however trying to get in touch was another entirely. Despite this seemingly insurmountable hurdle, Rappy suggests the group use their connections that they've established with Anderson and Ingrid for assistance. With nothing else to lose, the counters make their way to Ingrid and Anderson. Meeting with the pair, the commander requests that both be their backup. Wanting an equal exchange, the commander is asked what they'll get in return, to which he simply replies, information. Despite Ingrid's denial of anything being useful, the term Vophouse is enough to seal her suspicions. To further this alliance, the 2 are informed of Rappy's failed memory wipe, which instantly grips both Anderson and Ingrid's attention. Once more, they think it's all a bluff, to which Rappy reinstates that her memory remained intact.
What'd she
As a
tell
further
them?
reinforcement to her claim, Rappy offers her body and brain to be studied if they
Why?
provide support.
Oh,
Seeing
okay,
this
so
deal,
there it is.
Ingrid accepts,
That's
agreeing to let the
wow.
counters and the commander meet with the Absolute Squad
We need backup.
in a
Okay.
very unique way.
Here's what it is.
She initiates a joint operation, as well as gives the group access to where the battle with the heretic took place, an area that had been made off limits to the public.
That's useful.
With this, Ingrid urges the group to leave immediately, sending them to the site where the battle took place, a place labeled as Area H. This chapter starts off with an awkward air filling a silent room. Elijah's strongest squad and the counters are en route to their joint operation. Eunhwa, to no one's surprise, is not pleased with having to babysit a third-rate squad like counters, and eventually begins to engage in a verbal back and forth with Anise and Neon. Vesti, the seemingly shy and quiet member of Absolute, finds this entertaining, to which Eunhwa scolds her for. It is revealed that Rappy is far too familiar with these three, and Emma decides to see if the rumors are true about their memory wipe. Emma inquires about where the two first met, the two being Rappy and herself. Rappy seems embarrassed, stating that they first met in the showers. Emma then asks what was the first thing that she said to Rappy, to which she couldn't reply, stating that she couldn't say it in a public setting like this. Hello everyone, my name is Holographic, and for research purposes, I would love this scene visualized. Any talented artists amidst my viewer base? Huh? Anyone? Feel free to tag me on Twitter so I can research this scene for lore purposes. Anyway, this confirms to Emma that the memory wipe was true, eradicating any shadow of a doubt that she may have had previously. Vesti is happy that Rappy didn't forget them. As the team moves out, Shifty goes over their goal of their joint operation, to collect heretic fragments. Anise asks Eunhwa about the conflict with the heretics, intending to gather information useful to the counters later. While Eunhwa doesn't want to answer, Emma tells them that both squads were nearly obliterated completely.
Damn!
If it hadn't been for lightning hitting a certain spot when it did, they would have been done for. Eunhwa, of course, isn't too happy with Emma disclosing this information, being as prideful as she is.
I like Eunhwa.
Of course, Anise uses this as fuel, stating that they also fought a heretic and ended up being victorious. Eunhwa scoffs it off, chalking the counters to having dumb luck. Since Modernia previously knew them, she probably went easy on them. That and come on, Anise, you guys also had the help of a literal
Snow White
too? Don't exclude my girl Snow White. Eunhwa continues to berate the counters, mocking how bad it must feel to watch their comrade become a traitor to humanity. Yeah, this is pretty much Eunhwa's whole character, abrasive, direct, and not giving two shit about your feelings. Anise and Eunhwa exchange a back and forth of verbal lashings until Eunhwa eventually walks ahead of the group.
1v1.
Seeing this, Vesti asks Anise for pointers on the art of talking back, or in this case, being an absolute smartass. Basically, Vesti wants to stand up to Eunhwa, but doesn't know how to. But before Anise can teach her the art of smartassery, Raptures close in on their location. Instead of an encounter, like previous times before, Vesti just calmly states that she'll go and fight them off alone, putting their conversation on hold like dealing with the Raptures was no big deal. Despite Anise's worry about Vesti, Emma states that Vesti is strong, very strong, and backup won't be necessary. In no time at all, Vesti is back and Anise is stunned. With the threat of Raptures behind them, Anise finds Vesti, and when Eunhwa returns and barks orders towards her, Vesti shakily replies with one of the funniest lines in the story to date.
What are you doing? Get a move on. Well, why don't you join the itty bitty titty committee?
Oh!
If you have time to run your mouth, then you've got time to move.
What a classic comeback.
Okay, sorry.
Even though Eunhwa seems unfazed, that is a definite win in my book. As the group goes onward, leaving only Emma and Eunhwa, Eunhwa asks Emma, what does she think? Emma mistakenly misinterprets this as Eunhwa asking about the combat prowess of the counters. Well, in reality, she was actually affected by the comment and was inquiring about her
itty bitty titties.
bust size. Emma states that she can't know for certain unless she feels them, and once more artists, research my friends, for research. Later on, the group secures a campsite, and while Neon and Anise set out to prepare their perimeter, Rappy is left with the members of Absolute. The silence is long
Before we continue, I want to talk about Eunhwa real quick. She reminds me a lot of, how do I say this? The alpha woman, right? Especially a woman in the military. I met several of them. It's like the ones that have a high rank. It's they're good at being a soldier, but they're not good at being a woman. As strange as that sounds, because being a soldier obviously is something very masculine. And if you want to progress as a soldier and you're one of the best, it most likely involves violence, which is a lot of women condone or conduct in. And it's something I want to say is kind of normal. It's like I've met a lot of women in power, and it's like whenever they're at work and they're the top dog, they're so alpha. Whenever they get home, they want to be a beta. And if you like know what that means, as in like a dating wise and sexually wise, they be on some freak shit. Seen it? I've done it.
Research.
It's
Later on,
interesting.
the group secures a campsite, and while Neon and Anise set out to prepare their perimeter, Rappy is left with the members of Absolute. The silence is long between them, with Emma eventually breaking it by asking Rappy if she ever thought about coming back to Absolute. Before Rappy can reply, Enhua chimes in, saying that she'd never allow Rappy to come back and that the team is better off without her. Despite Enhua's brash exterior,
He doesn't mean
Vessi says that Enhua probably misses Rappy the most.
He does.
Vessi continues, reminiscing on how Enhua and
Tough
Rappy used to
girls.
work so well together,
Tough girls,
and how
man.
good the team meshed. Enhua asks
Very
Rappy why she left Absolute, and Rappy proceeds to explain.
Why did you do it? Tell me, why did you just leave us? Don't you have anything to say? Say something.
Looking for closure.
Do you remember the mission where the 5 Tyrant-class aircraft appeared near the Ark?
Yes, I remember. That was a tough mission.
If it hadn't been for you two, we'd have been in big trouble. I killed a human on that mission. Huh?
Isn't that against the orders?
It was a grenade.
Oh shit.
Accidents happen all the time during missions. No one holds you accountable, you know that.
I know.
Doesn't matter. That's
As I watched them bleed out with half their body missing, you know what I was thinking? I was irritated that I'd have to write a report.
ah.
Oh,
I see.
I was damaged.
Yeah.
My head, my heart.
Understandable. Okay.
I was made to protect the humans, and
Started looking at them like,
I was treating one of their deaths as an
obsolete.
annoyance.
yeah.
I
That's,
was disturbed by that.
that's very interesting.
That's
Introspection.
why I decided to quit. I didn't
Introspection.
know who I was. I wasn't a human. Nor could I say I was a NIKKE. I didn't know who or what I was.
That's damn.
So is that why you deserted us?
Ooh, that's all she cares about.
Did you ever think about our
What
feelings?
about other people? Yeah.
You felt bad, so you just up and left. Not a single word, not an ounce of regret.
Well, that's not true.
I found out you left by reading it off a piece of paper. How do you think I felt then? Unwa,
That's interesting.
what were we to you? Answer me. What were we to you?
You were
Comrades.
my friends.
Don't bullshit me.
Comrades.
No one treats their friends like that.
Yep, you were comrades.
Even though Enhua displays
Not
hatred
friends.
towards Rappy,
Comrades.
she's probably the one hurting the most. To her, Rappy was a dear ally, a comrade, someone she could sacrifice her own life in order to protect. And even so, she was discarded, left behind. And to Enhua, that is unforgivable. As Anise and Neon return,
Understandable.
following the confrontation between
That's really cool, man. It's definitely something I would expect from this, but it's like it's good to see it. The introspection from the NIKKE perspective, right? You know, it's like the law of robotics. You're supposed to protect humanity, blase blase. Of course, accidents happen in the battlefield. So for her to be able to understand that, hey, maybe I should treat the death of this human a bit more class than just, oh, I gotta fill out a report. That's it's cool. Lack of a better word, it's cool. Cool to see that she's able to form some type of emotion that's deeper than just love or happiness or fear or regret. It's something very human to be able to say, hey, I made a mistake in the way that I treated something and I should have treated it better. And I can see that my job is making me change for the worse. So I'm going. It's also very selfish, right? That's why Enhua is very upset. It's like, oh, you're upset about a human death. I'm upset that you left the team. About my feelings. How come your feelings are more important than mine? It's like, Enhua, as human as that emotion of anger and betrayal is, it's not as human as someone willing to put their own needs forward when they know that even though what they're doing makes other people happy, it doesn't make themselves feel good. So it's deep. I like that. I like that. Here we go.
Between Enhua and Rappy, it appears that they're not alone. They brought back 3 Nikkes who appear to have been unconscious. Nikkes they found while establishing a perimeter. And this isn't just any group of mass-produced Nikkes either. Instead, it's Missless's strongest squad, Matisse, the other group that had fought alongside Absolute. Now, the players are all in place
Now we really have
as
a
they
task
press
force.
onward
We have 3
to
different
Area
groups.
H. And that about wraps up chapters 8 through 10 in Nikke's story. Honestly, these chapters really start to unravel a lot of Nikke's mysteries still present in the story today. Did you enjoy this video, and what was your favorite part? Make sure to let me know in the comment section down below.
Overall, I want to say like the mystery when it comes to like the hacking and like the bullet and the corporate espionage and stuff like that. That's obviously still very interesting. But seeing this part of introspection on the Nikkes is say, hey, chapter 8 through 10 is probably at least so far. But we'll see what happens in the next chapter. I'll see you guys on the next one. Thanks for enjoying. Hit the like button, and I'll see you guys. Oh, comment as well, because sometimes I'll be forgetting people want to see it because nobody's like, hey, can you make another video? So let me know if you want me to check out the next video. And I'll see you guys in the next one. Peace.